Hey everyone, and welcome back to Book Summary Podcast. You ready to dive into another book?
Always.
Okay, perfect. Today we're going to be talking about the book I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi.
Okay.
And this one's all about personal finance.
Yeah.
And, I know when you hear personal finance, you think, boring.
Right.
But this is actually a really interesting book. It's not your typical, budgeting and, cutting back on lattes.
Yeah.
It's more about, maximizing your money
Mm-hmm.
and using it to live a rich life.
That's a great way to put it. I think that's what's so refreshing about Sethi's approach is that he really ditches the shame and the guilt that often surround money.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's all about empowering you to make conscious choices about your finances so you can create a life that aligns with your values and your aspirations.
Yeah. It's like you said, forget the restrictive budgets, forget the boring spreadsheets.
Right.
Let's focus on building a rich life, whatever that means to you.
Exactly.
And one of the key tools he says in building that rich life is credit, which is interesting because a lot of people think credit cards are bad, credit card debt.
Yeah.
Stay away from it.
That's the typical advice, right?
Yeah.
Stay away from those evil credit cards.
But he actually kind of flips the script on that.
He does. He completely changes the conversation around credit cards.
Yeah. And so he talks about how, a good credit score is like a financial SAT score.
Hmm.
And it can really impact, interest rates on good purchases like mortgages.
Absolutely. And that can make a huge difference in your financial life over time. I mean, think about it. The difference between a 4.2% interest rate and a 5.8% rate might seem small, but over the lifetime of a 30-year mortgage, that could be tens of thousands of dollars back in your pocket.
Right. And so he actually encourages readers to put almost all of their spending on credit cards, which sounds kind of crazy at first, but the key
It
is...
does sound counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
But there's a method to his madness.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's not advocating racking up debt.
No, not at all.
The key is, responsible credit card use.
Absolutely.
Paying off your balance in full every month.
That's the golden rule.
Yeah.
You got to pay it off in full every month.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you're essentially getting a free short-term loan from the credit card company.
Right.
But you're also racking up those rewards and perks. And those perks can be amazing. Everything from cash back to travel points to extended warranties. You can even get concierge services with some cards.
Right. Yeah. He even shares a story in the book about using credit card points to score a free hotel stay in Dubai.
Wow. See, that's the rich life right there.
Right. So, there's definitely benefits to it.
For sure.
But he doesn't just say, use your credit cards responsibly.
Yeah.
He actually lays out a plan for, taking control of your credit.
Yeah.
Which he calls the 6 Commandments of Credit Card Mastery.
I love that the 6 Commandments. It's like the golden rules for playing offense against the credit card companies instead of letting them control you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and we're going to go through each one of these commandments. But the first one is pay on time every time.
Okay, that one seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it does seem obvious, but he really drives home the point that your payment history is the single biggest factor influencing your credit score.
It's true. It really is.
Yeah.
Think of it this way, every on-time payment is like a little gold star on your financial report card.
Mm-hmm.
And those gold stars add up over time. They lead to a higher credit score, which opens doors to better interest rates, lower fees, and more financial opportunities. Honestly, this simple habit can save you more money in the long run than all the extreme couponing in the world.
Exactly. So it is really important.
It is.
Even though it seems like a simple thing.
Yeah.
The next one is wave goodbye to fees.
Okay.
And, he talks about how you should be comfortable negotiating with credit card companies.
Yeah.
He even provides scripts.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are intimidated by the thought of negotiating with these big companies.
Right.
But you have to remember, they're businesses. They want to keep you as a customer. And sometimes that means bending the rules a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
And he provides the exact words you can use.
Oh, I love that.
So you don't have to feel like you're stumbling through the conversation.
Yeah, that can be so helpful. Like having a script to follow.
Right. Yeah. And you'd be surprised how often they're willing to negotiate. Especially if you have a good credit history and, you're polite but persistent in your approach.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. Speaking of good credit history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. for more tips on maximizing your financial life?
Yes, please do. We love making these videos, and we want to make sure they reach as many people as possible. So if you're finding this helpful, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button.
Okay, the third commandment is lower that APR.
Mm.
Now, for those of you who aren't fluent in financial jargon, APR stands for annual percentage rate.
Right.
And it's basically the interest rate that you pay on your credit card balance.
Exactly.
And a high APR can really eat into your finances.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine like 18% or even 20% being applied to your debt every single year. Ouch.
Yeah. So you want to try to get that as low as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
And he provides a script for that too.
Oh, of course he does. He thinks of everything.
Like calling your credit card company and requesting a lower APR.
I love it.
And he even shares success stories from readers who've used his strategies to significantly lower their interest rates.
That's so inspiring. It
Yeah.
shows that it can really work.
Putting hundreds or even thousands of dollars back in their pockets each year.
That's real money.
So,
A few percentage points can make a world of difference.
right.
Especially when it comes to paying down debt.
All right, so commandment number 4 is keep it long, keep it active, but simple.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And this one's all about the importance of building a long credit history.
Ah, okay.
You know, the longer you've had a credit card and responsibly managed it,
Yeah.
the more trustworthy you appear to lenders.
That makes sense. Like you're building a reputation as a reliable borrower.
Right, which translates to a stronger credit score and more favorable terms on loans and other financial products.
Absolutely.
So he also talks about keeping rarely used cards active. So, you might have a credit card that you don't use very often.
Yeah.
But he says you should keep those active by maybe setting up like a small recurring subscription.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, like Netflix or something.
Yeah, something like that.
That way your credit history benefits from the longevity of that account without having to worry about forgetting to use it and then having it closed.
Right. That makes sense. It's a simple strategy that can make a big difference in the long run.
Exactly. Commandment number 5, master your credit limit. Now, this one can be a little tricky because a lot of people think that a high credit limit is automatically a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's actually more important to understand credit utilization,
Right.
which is how much of your available credit you're actually using.
Yeah. It's a ratio, right?
Yeah.
Of how much you're using versus how much you have available.
Yeah. And ideally, you want to keep that low.
Yeah.
Because a high credit utilization rate can signal to lenders that you're relying too heavily on credit,
Exactly. Even if you're paying your balance off in full every month.
even if you're being responsible.
Yeah.
And paying your bills on time, maxing out your credit cards, can actually hurt your score.
That's counterintuitive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But it makes sense when you think about it from the lender's perspective.
Right. So he recommends requesting credit limit increases periodically,
Okay.
especially if you've been responsible with your credit, because a higher limit means your utilization rate goes down, which can lead to a higher credit score. However, and this is really important,
Yeah.
it's crucial to pay off any existing debt before seeking credit limit increases.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to dig yourself into a deeper hole just because you have more credit available.
Right. You want to make sure you're managing it responsibly.
That's the key takeaway here, I think.
Yeah.
Responsible credit use.
Mm-hmm.
It's about leveraging these tools to your advantage.
Yeah. All right. And finally, commandment number 6, unlock the secret perks.
Oh, I love this one.
Right.
Tell me about these secret perks.
So this is where the credit card companies try to bury the good stuff.
Right. They hide it in the fine print.
Yeah, like all those valuable perks that are tucked away in the, terms and conditions.
Yeah. All those agreements that nobody reads.
Yeah. Yeah. But we're talking extended warranties, car rental insurance, concierge services.
Wow. It's amazing what they offer sometimes.
Right. And he urges us to actually read through those benefits
Yeah.
and take advantage of what's offered.
Yes. We're paying for these perks. We might as well use them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He even shares a story about using his credit card's concierge service to snag last-minute tickets to the LA Philharmonic.
See, now that's living the rich life.
Right. So,
Don't be afraid to utilize those perks.
yeah. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tips on how to live the rich life.
Exactly. We'll be back with more tips and tricks on how to maximize your finances and live your best life, so stay tuned.
All right, so welcome back to our deep dive into I Will Teach You to Be Rich. In the last part, we talked about, credit cards and how you can use them to kind of like boost your financial gain.
Yeah, those 6 commandments.
Right.
Really powerful stuff.
Yeah. But Sethi reminds us that true wealth isn't just about avoiding debt. It's about creating a life of abundance and freedom where you can spend on what matters most to you.
It is, and that's where his conscious spending plan comes in.
Right. Yeah.
It's a refreshing alternative to those restrictive budgets that make you feel like you're constantly depriving yourself.
Yeah, those budgets that,
Mm.
make you stress over every single latte and feel guilty about buying new shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sethi's plan isn't about penny pinching or,
Right.
it's about making intentional choices with your money so you can enjoy the things you love without that guilt or worry.
Okay. I'm intrigued. No more guilt trips over that morning coffee run.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
But how does this conscious spending thing actually work? Is it just like spend whatever I want and hope for the best?
No, not at all. There's actually a framework to it.
Okay.
Sethi's plan involves dividing your money into 4 distinct buckets.
4 buckets, huh?
4 buckets.
Okay. I'm guessing one of them is for like the unavoidable expenses,
You got it.
like rent bills, all that fun stuff.
That's right. The first bucket is for your fixed costs.
Okay.
These are the essentials, rent or mortgage payments, utilities, groceries, transportation.
Yeah.
All those recurring bills that show up every month like clockwork.
The stuff you pretty much have to pay no matter what.
Right. But even with fixed costs, Sethi encourages us to be proactive.
Okay.
He provides scripts and strategies for negotiating lower rates with service providers.
Okay, wait, so we can haggle with like our internet company or our cell phone company
Absolutely.
and like actually save money?
You'd be surprised how much wiggle room there often is.
Wow. Okay, I like that.
You
Like we can push back a little bit
Right.
and not just passively accept whatever they're throwing at us.
Exactly.
All right, so we've tackled our fixed costs. What's next on the bucket list?
Next up is the savings bucket.
Savings. Okay.
This is where you set aside money for those short-term goals that are just over the horizon.
Think like a dream vacation, a down payment on a house,
Yeah,
maybe a new car,
exactly.
or, even that fancy espresso machine you've been eyeing.
All of the above.
Okay.
And to make sure you actually reach those goals, Sethi recommends setting up separate savings accounts for each one.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So you can visually track your progress and stay motivated.
Yeah, because then you see that number growing,
Right.
and it kind of gives you that extra push.
Exactly. And it also prevents you from, accidentally dipping into your vacation fund for, say, a spontaneous online shopping spree.
Right.
Yeah. Sethi's a big advocate for automating your savings, too.
Automation. Tell me more.
It's basically setting up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings accounts each month.
So you don't even have to think about it.
You got it.
It's like putting your savings on autopilot.
Yeah,
No more relying on willpower alone,
exactly.
which, let's be honest, can be pretty unreliable.
It can be.
Yeah. All right. So far, we've got buckets for our, those must-pay costs and our exciting short-term goals.
Yeah.
But what about the long game?
Yeah.
Retirement financial security.
Yeah, the golden years.
All that grown-up stuff.
That's where our third bucket comes in, investments.
Investments. Okay.
This is the money you set aside for long-term growth,
Okay.
primarily for retirement. But those years when you're not working,
Retirement. Yes.
you still need money
Yeah.
to live.
But isn't investing like super complicated and risky? I'm picturing Wall Street and stocks going up and down like crazy and me losing all my money.
I get it. It can seem intimidating, especially if you're new to it.
Yeah.
But Sethi really breaks it down and makes it accessible.
Okay.
He emphasizes the importance of starting early, even if it's with a small amount,
Okay.
and letting the magic of compound interest work its wonders over time.
Compound interest. Yeah, he talks about how like consistent long-term investing is like a snowball rolling down a hill.
Exactly.
Right.
Gathering more and more snow as it goes.
Yeah.
And he believes that for most people, trying to time the market or pick individual stocks is a recipe for stress and underperformance.
Okay.
You know?
So instead of trying to be like a day trader or stock market guru,
Right.
he suggests like a simpler set it and forget it approach.
Exactly. He's all about a low-cost diversified investing strategy,
Okay.
primarily through index funds,
Index funds.
which essentially track the overall performance of the stock market.
Okay.
It's a boring but effective approach, as he calls it.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot less anxious about investing.
Yeah.
You don't have to pick the next hot stock or anything.
You don't.
Okay, cool. All right, so we've got the must-pay costs, we've got the short-term goals, we've got the long-term investments.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be real, we all need some fun in our lives,
We do.
right? What about those like spontaneous dinners out
Yeah.
weekend trips, those little indulgences?
That's where our fourth and final bucket comes in.
Okay.
And it's my personal favorite, guilt-free spending money.
Ooh, Tell me more. Is this where we get to let loose
This is it.
and enjoy those little luxuries without feeling like we're breaking the bank?
Exactly. This is the money you can use to enjoy life without stressing over every penny.
Okay.
Whether it's going out to dinner with friends, buying new clothes, taking a weekend getaway, or pursuing hobbies. This money is meant to be spent on things that bring you joy and make life richer.
I like that. And because you've already allocated money to those other buckets,
Right.
you can spend this guilt-free money
Exactly.
with confidence,
Yeah.
knowing that you're still on track with your overall financial goals.
You are.
No more guilt trips over that, new pair of
Yeah,
shoes.
that delicious meal out.
Right. Okay. This is starting to sound less like a budget and more like a roadmap to financial freedom and happiness.
It is.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of Sethi's approach. He removes the shame and the guilt from personal finance and empowers us to make choices that align with our values. It's not about deprivation. It's about conscious, intentional spending that supports the life you want to live.
Okay, I am sold on this 4-bucket system. But how do we actually decide how much money goes into each one? Is there a magic formula?
While there's not a rigid percentage breakdown,
Okay.
he does suggest a general framework.
Okay, like a starting point.
Yeah, a starting point that you can adjust based on your own unique situation.
Okay, cool.
He recommends allocating around 50 to 60% for fixed costs,
Okay.
10% for savings,
Right.
5 to 10% for investments,
Okay.
and the remaining 20 to 35% for that guilt-free spending money.
Oh, nice.
So you have room for fun.
I like that. And of course, those percentages can be tweaked
Absolutely.
depending on, individual income, your goals, your priorities.
Exactly. If you're aggressively saving for a down payment on a house,
Right.
you might bump up that savings percentage.
Yeah, or if you're passionate about traveling, you might prioritize the guilt-free spending
You got it.
to fuel those adventures.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The key is to find a balance that works for you and that you can realistically stick with over time.
Yeah, and don't forget, one of Sethi's biggest secrets to making this whole system work seamlessly is automation.
Automation. Yeah.
It's like the magic ingredient.
It's like the secret sauce
Yeah.
that makes everything run smoothly in the background.
But what exactly does that look like in practice? How do we automate?
So it's about setting up your finances so that money automatically flows to where it needs to go each month
Okay.
without you having to manually transfer funds or remember due dates.
So instead of relying on my often flaky memory to pay bills
Right?
or contribute to savings,
Yeah, exactly.
I can essentially set it and forget it.
You got it. You're creating an invisible money flow
I like that.
where your bills are paid on time, your savings are consistently growing, your investments are working for you in the background,
Yeah.
and you're still left with money to enjoy life.
Wow. That sounds like the dream.
It is.
I'm finally in control of my money instead of the other way around.
Exactly.
But how do we actually set up this magical automation system? Does it involve complicated spreadsheets or hiring a personal finance wizard?
Not at all. Sethi breaks down the process step by step
Okay.
and makes it easy to implement.
Okay.
He recommends setting up automatic bill pay through your bank, as well as automatic transfers to your savings and investment accounts.
Okay.
And you can even set up automatic contributions to your retirement accounts through your employer if that's an option.
So once you have this system set up, your money's basically working for you even while you sleep.
That's the goal.
That's amazing.
It is. And it frees up so much mental energy and time.
Right.
No more stressing over due dates or remembering to transfer funds. You can focus on the things you love, knowing that your finances are being handled efficiently and effectively in the background.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a lot less overwhelmed and a lot more empowered just hearing about this.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from mastering credit cards to creating a conscious spending plan and even setting up an automated financial system.
We have.
But the journey doesn't stop there. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll be tackling those big, sometimes scary topics like investing, negotiating your salary, and even navigating finances in relationships.
Ooh.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, if you're enjoying this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends who might also want to level up their financial game. Okay, so welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into I Will Teach You to Be Rich. We've covered a lot in the first two parts.
We have. We've talked about credit cards. We've talked about spending plans.
Right, yeah. But now it's time to tackle those bigger financial goals.
Yeah.
The ones that often feel intimidating or overwhelming.
Yeah, the things that we tend to put off because they just seem too complicated.
Exactly like investing.
Investing, yeah.
Ugh.
That word alone can make people's eyes glaze over.
Right. It's like stocks and bonds and mutual funds. It all just sounds like a giant, confusing puzzle.
It can be, especially if you're not familiar with the terminology.
Right. And I feel like you need a degree in finance just to understand the basics.
Right.
But Sethi does a really good job of kind of breaking it down.
He does. He demystifies it
Yeah.
and makes it feel accessible.
Yeah. And he emphasizes that it doesn't have to be complicated or scary.
He really doesn't.
Yeah.
And he advocates for a very straightforward long-term approach
Yeah.
that anyone can follow.
So he's all about those index funds, right?
Yes. Index funds are his go-to.
The ones that track the overall performance of the stock market.
Exactly. Because he believes that for most people, trying to time the market or pick individual stocks
Yeah.
is just a recipe for stress and often underperformance.
Right. Like you're trying to outsmart a system that's designed to be unpredictable.
Exactly. He even compares it to those elementary school tennis players who spend more time arguing about the string tension of their rackets than actually practicing their serves.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with investing, you know?
Yeah.
You don't need to get bogged down in all the details.
Right.
Just start investing,
Yeah.
even a small amount, because time is your greatest ally.
Okay.
The sooner you start, the more that compound interest can work in your favor.
So instead of like trying to pick the next hot stock or whatever,
Yeah.
we should just focus on building a solid, diversified portfolio
Exactly.
and letting it grow steadily over time.
That's the key. Consistency.
Consistency. Okay.
No, it's not about getting rich quick. It's about steadily contributing over the long haul.
And he actually shares the exact investment accounts he uses.
He does. He's very transparent.
Yeah, and breaks down the process step by step.
Yeah, which makes it so much less intimidating.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we've kind of demystified investing a little bit.
Hopefully.
Hopefully made it feel a little less daunting.
Yeah.
But what about another big financial hurdle that a lot of people dread? Negotiating your salary.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one.
It's like one of those conversations that can just make you break out in a cold sweat.
It can be very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, but Sethi reframes the negotiation process in a really empowering way.
He does. He sees it as an opportunity
Okay,
to showcase your value
okay.
and advocate for yourself.
And he emphasizes that it's not about being greedy or demanding.
Not at all. It's about having a confident, well-prepared conversation where you clearly articulate why you deserve to be compensated fairly for your skills and contributions.
Yeah, and he even provides scripts.
Of course he does.
I know, right? For asking for a raise. You don't have to go into that conversation feeling unprepared
Right.
or tongue-tied.
Yeah, he covers everything from researching industry benchmarks
Okay.
to quantifying your accomplishments to practicing your pitch to gracefully handling objections.
It's like having a personal salary negotiation coach.
It is. He walks you through it step by step.
Okay, I like that. And he also acknowledges the emotional side of negotiating. Because, it's often those feelings of fear and self-doubt
Right.
that can prevent us from asking for what we're worth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He talks about the importance of reframing those negative thoughts.
Okay.
Turning that I'm not good enough or they'll think I'm greedy mentality into empowering statements like I'm a valuable asset to this company and I deserve to be compensated fairly.
Yeah, it's like a mindset shift.
It is.
It's about recognizing your value and advocating for yourself
Exactly.
with confidence.
And clarity.
Okay, and speaking of relationships, Sethi doesn't shy away from a topic that a lot of personal finance books avoid. Finances and relationships.
Oh, yeah. That can be a tricky one.
Right, because let's face it, money is often a major source of conflict
It is.
in relationships.
It is, for sure.
Yeah, and he provides tools and strategies for navigating those conversations with your partner.
He does. He encourages open and honest communication
Mm-hmm.
about money early on in the relationship.
Yeah, that's important.
So you can establish shared goals and values
Yeah.
before those differences become major sources of tension.
Right, and he even offers tips for discussing those touchy subjects like debt and spending habits.
Yeah, those can be tough conversations.
Yeah, and financial expectations.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's about creating a safe space where both partners feel heard
Mm-hmm.
and respected
Mm-hmm.
and empowered to express their needs and concerns.
Right.
He also provides strategies for managing shared finances.
Yeah. Whether that's setting up joint accounts
Mm-hmm.
or creating a system for tracking expenses or making big financial decisions together.
It's about creating a true partnership
Yeah.
where you're working together towards those shared goals.
I love that.
Yeah, so there you have it. We've journeyed through the pages of I Will Teach You to Be Rich,
We have.
explored Sethi's unique and often unconventional approach to personal finance.
It's definitely a fresh perspective.
Yeah, and we've learned that true wealth isn't just about the number in your bank account. It's about creating a life that reflects your values and priorities.
It's about having the freedom and the confidence to spend extravagantly on the things you love
Mm-hmm.
and cut costs mercilessly on the things you don't,
Right.
all without feeling guilty or stressed.
Right. Yeah, it's about taking control of your financial destiny, building a secure future, and creating a life of abundance and joy.
That's the ultimate goal.
Right.
And Sethi has given us the tools to do it.
Yeah. He's provided us with a powerful toolkit
He has.
for achieving financial success and designing a life we truly love.
So now it's up to us to take action and apply those lessons.
Yeah, and start building our own rich lives.
Absolutely.
So if you enjoyed this deep dive and want to explore more books that can help you level up your life, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell.
And leave us a comment below.
Yeah, let us know what you thought of the book and what you're going to do to implement some of these strategies in your own life.
We love hearing from you.
Yeah. Until next time, happy reading.